Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Paul, I'm with the Dicey Review, and today we're going to be learning how to play the 2 to 10 player family classic Uno from Mattel. Begin setup, first shuffle all of the cards, then deal 7 to each player. The rest of the cards will be placed in the middle of the play area to form a draw pile. Then turn the top card of the draw pile over to begin a discard pile. And then the player to the left of the dealer would start play and become the first player. The goal of Uno is to be the first player to reach 500 points. Each round, players will play until one player runs out of cards, and at that point the round will end and scoring will happen. On a player's turn, they have to play a card on top of the discard pile if they're able. And to be able to play a card, you have to match the card that's currently showing with either a number, a symbol, or a color. So for instance, on their turn, a player could play a card on top of this 2 by either playing a 2 of any color or a green card no matter the color or symbol. So for instance, this player could play this 9 even though the numbers don't match because it's green. If a player doesn't have a card that matches, they have to take the top card of the discard pile. If it's a card that they could play, they can do that right away if they want to. So for instance, this player could play this +2 on top of this 9 because the color matches. After a player has played a card or drawn a card, their turn would be over and it would pass to the next player. If a player ever needs to draw a card and the draw pile is empty, they would shuffle the discard pile to form a new draw pile. If a player simply plays a number on top of the pile, then nothing happens on their turn. But some cards are known as action cards and have specific symbols printed on the front. When a player plays one of these cards on top of the discard pile, a special action occurs. When a player plays this card, the next player in turn order has to draw 2 cards and skip their turn. When a player plays this card, the next person in turn order would simply skip their turn. When a player plays this card, turn order would be reversed. So if play is currently going to the left, then it would change to the right, and vice versa. If a player plays a wild card, that means they now get to pick the color that's in play going forward. So for instance, instead of green, this player could now say that blue is on top of the pile. Players are able to play this card even if they have another legal playable card in their hand. A player can also play this wild draw 4 card. This allows a player to choose the color that continues play just like with a wild card, but in addition the next player has to draw 4 cards from the draw pile and skip their turn. A player can only play this card if they don't have another card in their hand that matches the color on the discard pile. It's important to note that players can challenge someone whenever they play a +4 card if they think it was played illegally. The challenged player has to show you their hand, and if they played it illegally, the challenged player has to draw 4 cards instead of you. But if the challenged player is innocent, whoever challenged them has to draw 6 cards instead of 4. As soon as any player is down to 1 card in their hand, they have to say Uno to indicate that they only have 1 card left. And if that player doesn't say Uno and they're caught before their next turn begins, they have to draw 2 cards. Once a player has played all of the cards from their hand, the round will be over. Points are then scored and then play would start over again with a new round. It's important to note that if a draw 2 or draw 4 card is played as the last card of the round, the next player in turn order has to draw those cards just like normal and then count them for scoring. The player who got rid of all of their cards would then score points for all of the cards that are left in their opponent's hands. Any number cards 0 to 9 are just scored at face value, so for instance, these 3 would score the player 11 points. And then each of the special cards scores differently. The draw 2, reverse, and skip cards will each give a player 20 points. A wild card would give a player 50 points, and a wild draw 4 card would also give a player 50 points. So if these cards were left at the table in this example, the player would score 171 points. The winner of the game would be the first player to reach 500 points. There are also 2 special types of wild cards that are included if you want to use those as a variant as well. The first is a blank wild card, and you can write any rule on these cards that you want with a pencil. These cards are erasable, so you can change them each time you play. There's also a swap hands wild card. And when this card is played, every card from each player will be collected and shuffled together, and then you'll deal them back out to each player, starting with the player to your left. You'll deal until there aren't any cards left, which means that some players may end up with more or less cards than they had before, and then play would continue in the same direction. With both of these cards, they also work like a normal wild card, so the player would get to choose the color that goes forward. Alright everybody, that was our video. Thanks so much for watching. We hope that it was helpful and we hope that it was informative. If you still have any questions about how to play the game, please comment below or email me directly at thedicey@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to answer those questions for you if I can. And as always, if you enjoy the content that we're putting out, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon to be notified whenever we put out new content. Alright, thanks so much everybody. Until next time, I'll see you at the table.